Ukraine has made its first New Year surprise for Russians. The military base where the 810th Marine Brigade of the Russian Federation was stationed in border Kursk region has been struck with KAB aerial bomb. The incident occurred in the village of Ivanovskoye in Rylsky district in a ceremony in which Russian servicemen were being decorated. Russians have suffered heavy losses in terms of military personnel and military hardware during the attack. The exact number of casualties has not been disclosed. Footage from the scene appeared on social networks, showing destruction. Acting governor of Kursk Aleksandr Khinshtein has confirmed the Russian strike in the area. Ukraine launched large-scale incursion into Russia's Kursk region in early August, seizing swathes of lands in the area. Russia regained about 40% of the territory seized by Ukraine. Russian servicemen transport the Western equipment captured in the battles in Ukraine to the territory of Russia. The relevant images were distributed on Russian Telegram channels. The Russian army has captured some of the Western equipment used by the Ukrainian army. Various armored combat vehicles damaged in the battles, including armored vehicles, were packed into trucks and taken to the territory of Russia.
Russia plans to strike the Japanese nuclear power plant in the event of war, the Financial Times explained. The publication made such a conclusion after studying the secret documents of 2013 to 2014. Sources showed the documents according to which Russia trained its officers in 2008 to 2014. They say that in the event of a conflict on the eastern borders of the country, Russian troops will strike 160 objects in South Korea and Japan. Half of them are military bases, air bases, naval fleets, command posts. And the second half is civil objects, bridges, highways and railways, tunnels. The list of potential targets includes energy infrastructure, including nuclear power plants in Japan and chemical plants in Busan. Journalists also note that Russia's plans indicate confidence in its missile systems. It was planned to use X-101 missiles launched from Tu-160 bombers to attack the radar station on Okusiri Island. The probability of destroying the target was estimated at 85%. The Financial Times writes that during the war against Ukraine, the Russian rockets showed themselves poorly. According to FT sources, the documents are still relevant and show that the Russian military is afraid of attacks on the eastern borders of its country. Russians are worried about the defenselessness of the eastern part before the attack of the Americans, NATO, or their allies. In addition, it is clear from the documents why Russian military aviation makes regular flights along the borders of Japan and South Korea. The goal is to test the enemy's anti-aircraft defense, fixing where and when the planes will be raised to intercept the Russian forces. The occupying country, the Russian Federation, secretly prepared officers for attacks on Japan and the Republic of Korea, informs the edition of the Financial Times. secret plans of the Kremlin have been found by journalists, and now they write with reference to these documents that the strike plans, which are mentioned in the military documents of the Russian Federation, envisage strikes on more than 160 objects, of which only 82 are military and the rest are civilian. At the same time, among the Russian targets, which became known thanks to the leak of secret documents, are the command posts of the armed forces of Japan and the Republic of Kazakhstan, as well as tunnels, radar installations, naval facilities, and the energy infrastructure of these countries. It is emphasized that the Kremlin chose targets for strikes very carefully. It is also noted in the secret documents, with the help of which the armed forces of the Russian Federation are going to break through the defense of South Korea and Japan.
A driver wrought carnage on New Orleans' famed French Quarter early on New Year's Day, ramming a pickup truck into a crowd and killing 10 people before being shot to death by police, authorities said. More than 30 people were injured in the attack, which the FBI is investigating as an act of terrorism. The driver was killed in a firefight with police following the attack around 3:15 a.m. Wednesday along Bourbon Street near Canal Street in an area teeming with New Year's revelers, the FBI said. President Joe Biden said his reaction to the New Orleans attack was one of anger and frustration, adding he would refrain from further comment until more is known while the investigation continues. He spoke to reporters in Delaware as he prepared to travel to the presidential retreat at Camp David. At a news conference, New Orleans Mayor LaToya Cantrell described the killings as a terrorist attack, and the city's police chief said the act was clearly intentional. New Orleans Police Superintendent Ann Kirkpatrick said the driver was hell-bent on creating the carnage and the damage that he did. The area is known as a prime New Year's Eve destination. Tens of thousands of college football fans were in the city for Wednesday night's Sugar Bowl playoff game between Georgia and Notre Dame at the nearby Superdome. The stadium was on lockdown Wednesday morning, but the game was expected to be played as scheduled.
Any more information you can offer?
You've all got my statement. I'll have more to say in the next hour or so following what's going on in New Orleans. I'll be happy to do that.
Do you understand if the person crossed the border?
I'm not going to comment on any specific yet at all. I've contacted every agency in the federal government as well as the state. They're all coordinating to get to the bare facts. We know what the facts are.
Can you say if he was a foreigner or if he was a domestic?
I'm not going to say anything until I get all the facts in front of me.
Has the suspect been identified?
Again, I'm not going to comment until I speak to the group later. I've spoken to every member of the agency, from the CIA to our national security team, to our FBI, NSC, and we're gathering all the, and I spent a lot of time with the government, with the mayor.
What was your reaction when you heard what happened?
Well, the reaction was one of anger and frustration. Thank you.
Thank you.